Okay guys, welcome to Clunkers and Classics. I'm about to wrap up this video that you're about to watch, but I wanted to put this at the beginning just to let you know it's going to be kind of boring. It's a bunch of wiring, took a bunch of time screwing around, and just to say, I know about the 3-wire hookup. I know about the cheap harness. All that is if, you know, a $200 harness. That's if you buy a junkyard engine with no harness. You can buy a $200 harness, but it's a 3-wire type thing. And again, just to get it running. It's not going to work your transmission if you're using a 4L60E. It's not going to work any of your gauges. None of that stuff. To make it all work, you need the $1,200 to $1,500 Holly thing with the little screen that shows you all the vitals. I don't even know if that includes speedometer. Probably does. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm saving the $1,200 to $1,500 buying a Holly, whatever they call it, the eliminator, you know, whatever kit it is to convert an LS. That's what I'm saving. That's why I'm doing all this work, to save that much money. I'm not doing it to save $200, because a $200 harness, all that's going to do is get you started. And I can do that with the factory harness. Get it started. I want everything to work. I want all the gauges to work, the transmission to work, all that stuff. And this is what this video is about, just screwing around, getting all that situated, and then getting the factory harness to work the other stuff. It's in the car, you know, the headlights, the heater, the wipers, you know, stuff like that. Okay, so just be warned, if you know, if you're not interested in wiring and stuff, you can skip the video. It doesn't bother me. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. Last episode we got the side pipes on, so the exhaust is all done. Kinda, sorta. Thinking about putting some straight pipes in behind there with a switch, or even manually to click it to straight pipe. But we're gonna see how this sounds. Well, we know how it sounds, but you know, kind of like going down the road or whatever. Okay, this episode now this is the LS swap, and I made that little video that says, yeah, I got it in and running for 30 bucks, and got some comments, oh, it costs more than that to, you know. Well, that's, I put it in there and I just spent 30 bucks on motor mount adapter plates, and it's in there and running. That's what I said. Didn't say it was going to be drivable for 30 bucks and all that. And we're going to add money onto it, just like I added, put headers on, put the cold air intake. Okay, so I was having a problem, still got a problem, which I thought was a security. So I go to turn the key, you know, everything just like it started before, gauges, everything comes on. But this is the starter relay right here. It goes in those 4 little dots. And it's having a problem with that. It wouldn't start with a key. So I jumped the wire from there to here. Starts right up. Turns off by the key. So I was doing that a few times, and all of a sudden the fuel pump doesn't work, which is this relay here. So I took that relay off, and I had a bunch more like that. Put one in there, and it started. And then you turn it off, and then it wouldn't start again. I thought it was blowing relays. Lucky I had about 10 of these. So I'm like, okay, well, something's up. And I thought it was with the security system, because well, Stuff was kind of acting funny, so I thought, well, let's just go ahead and buy another computer or get somebody to program mine. But like I said in the last video, local guy wanted $250. I got this one off eBay for $159. I think I mentioned that in the last video. I just hooked it up, and I still can't get the starter relay to work, but the fuel pump one does. That's why it starts now. So no matter what I do, these three here are the same. You can swap them around everywhere, and it won't start. It won't do anything with the key. You have to jump it with this wire. So I got this relay here's clicking. This is what the column goes into here, into this junction fuse block, and this clicks and everything. But I tried kind of jumping that. They all get power except to this yellow one, and then when you turn the key, that yellow one lights up. So it seems to be working. So there's something, I don't know, maybe I'll check some of these fuses here, relays, or a few, maybe it's one of these fuses blew. Anyway, that's what this video is about, where you got to go through it. Maybe one of these are blown or something, and causing that relay up there not to work. But that's the only problem. Oh, I don't have the list. I think I mentioned it in the last video. He asked me well, the auction was for one already programmed for an LS swap for 99 to 02 Silverado, and he already had all the stuff, the EGR turned off, the rear O2 sensors turned off, security turned off, and then he had some other power enrichment something. Then he put in there that he had it programmed for electric fans to turn on and off at certain temperatures, and just put in the messages, you know, what you want the fans to turn off and on. I said, well, it doesn't have electric fans. You know, I got the manual one, which I'm keeping. But if I get that other aluminum radiator from that place, it comes with 2 electric fans, but I'll just wire them up with a switch. So in the messages, then he says, I want to know the rear end and the tire size for the rear. So anyway, so in the messages, I said, you know, all that's fine, but I don't have fans, so don't worry about that. Told him I just had highway gears in the back, and it's going to have 270, 60, 15s on the back. But then I told him, I said, I don't know what this power enrichment and all this stuff is, but don't do anything to compromise the gas mileage. Because I want to it should get 25 miles to the gallon. It's rated 22 on the truck. This is, you know, 1,500 pounds or something lighter. This should get at least 25. So I told him I don't want to compromise any of that, but you know, he just, well, just include this message in when you order it. So I did. So that's it there. The other, what do I do with the other computer? That laying down here somewhere. That'll be a spare. Oh, I thought I just had it laying down here somewhere. Cats everywhere. Anyway, the old computer just be a spare, and that's what the local guy was going to program. So actually now they give you the computer and program it for $159, and shipping and tax and all that. So I got a spare computer. Later on, if I want to put it more in race mode or something like that, they can monkey with the old computer, and I can swap it or whatever. But right now, I kind of want to keep it factory running, because you know, if everything's set to factory, the thing will last, you know, 250, 300,000 miles. You start over revving it and stuff it's not designed to do, then that's where you get problems, and that's what I don't want right now. Okay, so I want it to be nice and dependable and get good gas mileage. Okay, so he deleted the EGR, and I unplugged it here. You know, when I put the headers on, the EGR pipe, I didn't connect it. It wasn't sucking or blowing, so I don't know what the deal was with that. Okay, so I disconnected this. Well, first I connected my code reader, you know, because I got all this set up here. I got the gauges and the code reader right here, and it read random misfire. So I checked it all. When I did the last video, I did two flex pipes to join the headers to the side pipes. Anyway, the passenger side is real tight, no leaks. This side, they didn't have the right pipe, so instead of 2 1/4, I got 2 1/2. It's a little loose, and it's leaking a little bit. Whether I can tighten it up more, double clamp it, I don't know. So this pipe here sounded like there was a little miss to it, but I didn't know whether it was a miss or a miss from the engine or a miss from the exhaust leak. So I took off these wires one by one right here, because I had the chain across this one, and I thought maybe I screwed that up, but they're all putting out juice, so it's not this side. So then I cleared the codes and run it again for a little while and checked it, and there's no codes coming up. So this code reader will work, and of course there's no code for the EGR now, even though it's unplugged. So we can just leave that dangling, tie it up somewhere, and we're going to take off this whole system here. Like I said, nothing connected there. There's 2 bolts to the head, one there and one there. We're going to take them 2 bolts off. Then this little, looks like a 10mm, take that off and pull it out. Now you can buy the kit, EGR delete plate kit, for 20 to 30 bucks, and it's a little plate there and a little plate on the exhaust manifold, which we don't need. So I didn't want to spend that. So I found a video, and a guy says, for 79 cents, you go to O'Reilly's and order Dorman part. I'll give it to you later, because I can't remember what it was, 555093 or something. I'll get it to you later. And it's actually a freeze plug that fits perfectly in there. You just put a little gasket sealer on there and plug it in. Of course, it's not 79 cents no more. It's been 2 months, so it hasn't been not 79 cents anymore. It's $1.19. So we're going to put that on there. I'll show you. I'll probably put a little JB weld around it instead of gasket sealer and stick it in there. It's supposed to fit real snug and perfect. So for $1.19, we're going to fix that hole instead of 20, 25, 30 bucks. And then we'll delete this whole thing. You know, it's not really in the way of anything, but if it's not connected, we might as well just take it off. So I'll show you that. Like I said, we'll take out the 2 bolts, pull the whole thing off. This pipe, this, and this. And they're on eBay for upwards of 100 bucks. So I could probably put that on eBay and sell it. Okay, so it runs great with the EGR disconnected, with the new cold air intake. There's a mass airflow sensor there. I don't know if he has that disconnected on the computer or not. But anyway, right now it runs great, okay? With that stuff disconnected, that's what we're doing. We're disconnecting stuff kind of one piece at a time. You don't want to do everything, and then all of a sudden it doesn't run, or it doesn't run right, and you don't know what it is, and you have to put everything back together. So we're doing one thing at a time. I'm going to try to do away with this box. This, I don't know. See, the wiring harness goes into it, and that's this right here. Right rear parking lamp, right rear fog lamp, or RR fog lamp, courtesy lamp, two-way burn vanity, trailer. See, this ain't really for anything. So what I done was I disconnected it to see it's only got 3. That's all it had in it from the factory, just these 3. I pulled them out, still ran. So I disconnected it here with the 2 little deals, pulled them out, still ran, but when it's turned off, these gauges, I forget which one, maybe a couple of them, they twitch. They sit there and twitch a little bit like this. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I connected it back up and they stopped twitching. So I'm going to try that again since we got a new computer. And I put another ground wire, you know, and I thought, well, maybe it's not getting a good ground. So I stuck another ground wire here. So we're going to try to disconnect that. If we disconnect that and everything's good, then we can take all this out of the harness, get rid of this. We're going to try to get rid of these wire stuff one at a time. This little harness, I noticed that I couldn't shift it. The transmission cable ain't connected. It connects to here, or no, it connects to here. But it's stuck in park, and you have to hit the brake pedal to move it into gear. So I'm thinking, oh shit, well, this is the deal to it right here. And then this is from the truck, plugs in right there. But I left this on the truck, so I thought, well, I don't need that. Well, you know, like I didn't crush the truck or nothing. So I went and got from here to here and plugged it in. And whatever crap was in there, you push that little black thing down there with a screwdriver, and it clicks right here and unlocks this so you can shift it. Now, whether I can get in here and break that little lock or something, that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not sure how to really hook this up to, you know, you don't want to sit there and push it down with a screwdriver every time you shift, or hook it up to a button and push a button. So I may take this thing off, so it just... Okay, so we got that to do. Then we get rid of that. Security doesn't work, so we don't have to worry. Maybe so later on, if we don't use this column, we just use these wires here and hook it to the original Chevelle switch, or get a regular, you know, just a little aftermarket couple of wire prong ignition switch. Because the Chevelle one is not 68 was last year. It's in the dash. The key thing's inside the dash, and you turn it, so it's not on the column. So you can stick anything in there. Get a little aftermarket boat type thing and stick it in there. So we'll figure them wires out if we don't use this column. Figure out them wires and put an ignition in there, and then we'll have to do something with the tow. This is what they had rigged up for the tow haul. The wire must have, this orange wire must have broke, and they stuck in this speaker wire here. That just needs to be connected to that. But that'll probably be, if we don't use this column, that'll be hooked to a little toggle switch or a little push button and click the tow haul on and off. Okay, so we got that to kind of figure out and get ready. Okay, so, and then this box here is for, well, that is for the, this one here was for the ignition, and then this goes into for the turn signals and the cruise control, headlights, high beam, stuff like that. If we're not using that, we'll start unplugging this stuff and do away and start cutting all this stuff off. So basically, we're going to trim down the harness as much as we can. Still haven't decided on a fuel pump type thing yet. So this is, you know, this is the wires to it. I don't know if he deleted the emission vapor thing. That's what all this crap and this crap is, and it's got that one electrical plug there. We're going to disconnect that and see what happens, see if it throws codes or whatever. That goes up to right up to here. I forget what this is called. It puts the unburnt fuel vapor into the intake and burns it, and then it's got a little electrical plug too. They usually do delete them from the computers for the swaps, So yeah, we'll disconnect them and see how it runs, see if it throws any codes too. So hopefully we can do away with that. I said I don't want to just unplug something and all of a sudden the computer goes haywire and it starts running like shit, because that happens quite a bit. Okay, so yeah, I explained the fuel system in the last video. So we're gonna figure something out, get something ordered. Won't be done this video, but we'll have it figured out 100%. Okay, I know a lot of rambling on stuff, but that's what I'm doing. It's gonna be time consuming. We got to trim this stuff down so it all fits inside underneath the dash. You can't just throw everything in there, it won't fit. So we're gonna trim it down on the unused stuff, and later on we're gonna get it through the firewall underneath the dash, because we still got to use the original wiring on this for headlights and signals and stuff like that. So anyway, when I start getting something done, I will be back. Okay guys, before I forget, that part is Dorman 55093. Get it at O'Reilly's, and that's what it is, just a freeze plug. Even has a part number on there. That is what's supposed to fit in there perfectly. Right there. So I'm going to do that, like I said, and then I'll just come back when it's done. So I'll show you. See, it's just 2 bolts, this little one here. And then, like I said, I'll put some JB weld around there and stick her in there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, let me show you what I got done so far. Here's the EGR system here. Goes the manifold, intake, 2 bolts to the head. Stuck them bolts back in there, just snugged them up. Same with the little 10mm here. Put a little JB weld around that plug, stuck it in there. So that's it. It doesn't throw any codes for that. So that's that little thing done. Over here, for the gear shift lever, I took this whole thing off. It just I forget which way it went in now. Oh yeah, it went in that. It went to that connection there, to that. So that was the electrical to keep it from going out of park till you hit the brake pedal. So I just took that off. Transmission hooks to this. So now it's basically going to start in every gear, unless I do something else to it. But we may not even use this gear shift column and everything. We may get a floor shifter, but just in case. So that's disconnected that, and that's a little harness to click it, like I showed you before. So I just cut them 2 wires there. They're right there. Now I got a problem. Trying to figure out problems here. You can see how. See, the key's off. Now if I pull the key, they'll go right back down to normal. And then in a few seconds it'll go back up with no key in it. Key's right here. See, fuel gauge goes up, temperature goes up, mile per hour goes up. And I thought it was a ground or something, so I grounded the column in here, put another ground wire there. But I don't know what it is. And I disconnected this, and it still twitches. So with this disconnected, and I turn the key, none of the gauges work. They just twitch. So I guess I got to leave this connected for whatever it is. But before we start to see, all I did was stick the key in, and it went back. It almost seems like a ground or something. It's not. So I think I'm going to change the transmission fluid, jack up the rear end, and See if I can get this shifter cable here to work. That may be another electronic thing. Keep it from shifting. I don't know. So we're going to do that because we got to test out and make sure the transmission is going to work before I start trying to disconnect and snipping wires. Because I'm not exactly sure where the transmission, none of these little things here say transmission. You know, all this stuff here. So I'm not exactly sure what controls the transmission. It may go into this body control module. Somehow it's all electronic. I think it's off of this harness here. Goes down in there, so it comes into here. So anyway, I'll be back when I get a little bit further along. Okay guys, I made a little segment showing the old transmission fluid, but I pushed the wrong buttons on the camera, so I just cleaned it all up and ready for the new, well, I'm not ready for the new gasket. They say not to use any gasket sealer on the new one, but anyway, it didn't look real bad. It looked like it's original, 150,000 miles. Not much. This is a little magnet. There's a little bit of gray, you know, clutch material or whatever, but not bad at all. Just a little bit. So I cleaned it up. And of course, a while back, I bought the transmission filter and gasket. And when I went there the first time, they were, oh, there's 2 of them for that year. So of course, they gave me the wrong one. So I just now went and returned it and got the right one. So I think the same, it's got the same gasket, but this filter, the other one was the other one was metal and smaller, and this one takes this one. So we got that and the rubber gasket. So anyway, going to put them on there and fill it full of new fluid, and we're going to run it and shift the gears. I got it jacked up in the back on jack stands. Got the shifter cable right here, right there. It does, I was a little bit afraid that it might have had a thing like the column in there. It's electronic, keeping it from coming out of park, but it doesn't. You can pull it and it'll go into the gears. So we're just going to sit here and run it and put it through the gears and see what it does. But sometimes, well, we'll see, you know, we'll see if the goes through the gears and the speedometer and everything works. It should, because I haven't disconnected anything yet, at least that I know of. But sometimes when you have cars jacked up like this, freewheeling, it acts a little different than it is on the ground. I've noticed that on some multiple different cars. So this ain't a complete test of what it's shifting and speed and all that. It's just kind of weird, guys, but it'll just give us a little indicator here that, you know, it works, and hopefully it'll shift through all the gears and all that. So anyway, I'll be back. Okay guys, I got it in gear. Watch the speedometer. Okay, pretty sure it went through all the gears. Kind of hard to tell. You could hear it first, second, third. I don't know if it went into overdrive. I think it did, but like I said, it kind of acts funny. Some cars act funny when they're up on stands. But anyway, it's shifting and the speedometer works. That was the main criteria, because if it didn't, if you bought a trying to use one of these without the harness, it wouldn't work. You'd have to buy a special harness and all kinds of stuff, a GPS speedometer and all kinds of extra stuff, which adds up. Okay, so we got that done. We got the transmission fluid changed. I checked it again. I think it was full. But anyway, I'll be back. Okay, little update on the wiring mess here. That's what I trimmed off so far, but I still got a ways to go. I've just been cutting all the excess wires. I'm gonna have to use all this stuff. It's gonna have to fit under the dash somewhere. I thought I could disconnect this because I don't know what it does, but as I explained before, the mix of wires just twitch and stuff. These are 2 grounds. I'm gonna hook them up to see if they do anything. I connected a bunch of other grounds when I pulled wires out of here, just for the OBD2 sensor, the gauges. I decided to use the original column. So here's the old column here. I took it apart and I took off the key ignition thing here, and then this is the turn signals and everything, but the only thing I really need on this is the cruise control right here. I was hoping to use that, and I thought originally that I could cook this onto the old column, and then there's a little piece it hooks onto, but I don't think it's going to work unless it's looks really rigged up with some clamps and JB weld and stuff. But so I might try to figure out these wires just to click the cruise control so it works. I mean, I might as well. There's the cruise control right here. It's hooked up to the cable and the wiring. Forget what. Oh, so we're gonna have to put all this. Well, this is kind of part of the harness, but this all underneath the dash. So before I do that, I'm gonna do the original wiring for the car here. All this, I'm gonna route that. Most of it comes up across for the headlights, horns here, headlights, and I think that's about it. Signals. We're not hooking any wires up to go the engine or starter. That's all going to work with this. So we're going to hook that up and put power to it and make sure it all works. And there's just a few things I haven't figured out with the signals. See, I still got the wiring down here. This goes across for mostly the signals, marker lamps, headlights, and there's one here for the AC line. That's the only reason I kept it. But I don't really want to use all that for this car and use this for the signals, because it's got the wipers on it and the headlights. Or does it have the head? No, not the headlights, but the wipers and high beams. So we're not going to use any of that. We're going to use the original stuff. So we'll probably cut all this off, and I'll have to figure out this AC thing. I'll probably just snip that off and hook it to the AC line, and then do away with the rest of this. But this hooks up into this harness here, so it doesn't have anything to do with going underneath the dash. That's what I'm concentrating on mainly. Where's my little tow haul button right here? I disconnected that from the gear shift, and all you do is you connect it, you just touch them together and let go, and it comes on. Then you touch them again and it comes off. So I can hook a little button up to that on the dash somewhere, click it on and off. All this wiring here, I'm not quite sure if I can just use these wires to my original ignition switch, or just use this and rig it in somehow. I'll probably do that. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. We got to trim down all this wiring here. The only wiring we need to the gas tank is these lines here. These here went to the back signal lenses and turn signals, brake lights. So we're going to probably take all that wiring, goes all the way out to here. These are for the ABS brakes. We'll snip them off. Probably trim down that and tape it, and that'll go underneath the car all the way to the gas tank. And then this is just kind of temporarily taped up. Once I've figured out completely, we're going to tape it all up real good. But the main thing is getting all this to fit under the dash. So we'll get the original wiring all done, fuses check, everything underneath the dash. Put the steering column in. A lot of this stuff we're not going to be using. Well, we will. There's the headlights here, the ignition here. We may not use that, but we'll have to have the fan working, and I think that's about it. Oh, and here's for the turn signals. There's one wire that was broke right here. Yeah, right from there to there. And make sure I fix that. That just connects to here, to the column. I think that's all we need. This is the neutral safety switch thing. We're going to hook up the column, get it all insulated in there, silicone, whatever. This was for the old speedometer cable. We'll patch that up, seal all this up, and get all these wires here for the high beams. Get all these wires where they're supposed to be. As for the brake lights, and then all them other stuff is going to have to be up under here somewhere. We're going to have to mount it all. A lot of this stuff we're not going to use, like the lights. I don't know if I want to cut these off, or I'll probably just tape them around somewhere. These are for the lights, for the gauges, stuff like that. I pretty much know where everything goes, but okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be kind of boring to record it all, but I'll come back with updates when I get some more done. Okay guys, little update. I brought the original wiring harness out here for the headlights mainly, and then this there's a main power going from there. It's a red one into here, and this goes to the alternator of the original, and all you got to do is connect this to this power right here, or any power really. You can connect it to the battery if you want. So now we got power going everywhere and into the original fuse block there. And I just checked it all. These extra wires here, this just temporarily, I kind of taped it together there. These are the wires here that go down to the starter, and we don't need them. And then this is like oil pressure, and I think that went to for the points thing. Okay, then we got eventually you're gonna have to put a new wiper motor on here, but the wiper motor wires go from here over to here into this block. So we got these wires here for the headlights and stuff run just connected straight to the battery. This one is on the ignition, so you got to turn the key on, the original key, for this to work. And these are the wipers, heater, what else? There's a couple other. Okay, there's a cat. So right now with power, we got all these, I don't know if I can read all them, courtesy and on the left side. Now you turn the key on, which I tried, and then it turns these on. Directional signals, radio, wipers, heater, wiper, and all that. So that's the problem. Is here's a key switch here. I put the original key in there, turn the key, and then sure enough the right side worked. So that's gonna kind of be a pain in the ass, because we're gonna have two keys for the car, one to turn on that. I don't know what'll happen if I leave it on all the time, whether it might drain the battery or something. So I'd rather not risk that. So I don't know. Anyway, that's what all that wiring's for. Now we're gonna, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but we're gonna be using the truck dash in here. Gonna modify the dash bezel and mount that in. So that's why we don't need any of this stuff here. These lights for the gauges, we don't need the gauges or the lights. We just need, this is the headlight switch here and the wiper switch. So we'll need them. The rest of these we're going to tie off somewhere. See, the original gauges and everything was pretty deep. I'll show that on another video. The truck one's pretty thin. Okay, so here's the heater ones here. You turn on the heater with this. So we just got a few little things to worry about. The brake lights, the turn signals. Oh, that's what the other, this one down here was the turn signals. And you got your high beam. So whatever on a regular car doesn't work with the key off, when you turn it on, you know how the radio and heater and all that works, it won't work when the key's off. So that's how we got it set up now, and all I had to do is just hook the one main power right here to power, and then it powers everything up, the whole car. So that's, like I said, that's power for what's on the car, and then the motor, ignition, transmission, all that stuff, that's all powered with this. So since we got that wiring figured out, we're going to wrap up the bulbs and everything like that, and then we're going to stick this box and the computer stay underneath the hood fender well, and the rest of this stuff here goes underneath the dash. So it goes in through here. So I'm going to make a hole about that big, and well, actually bigger than that, to fit this whole thing in. I may trim down this harness some more. But yeah, that's going to go in through here somewhere, and we'll get all this underneath the dash and then figure out where we want to put it, mount it, make some mounting plates or something like that, get it out of the way of my feet and all that. Then we just got to figure out where to put this ignition switch, and then we're going to have a button to turn it on. So we're going to turn this key on all the way and then click that together with a push button to start it, which would be good, because like I said before, I don't know what's up with the starter relay thing, whatever, but I found the two wires. It's a pink and a purple, and that's what this is here. So we're just hook a push button, turn the key, push it, comes on, starts right up. Okay, so that's what I got figured out so far. So and then I don't think I need any of this stuff here, you know, the starter wires, but I didn't want to snip everything off. I don't know, just in case, use original wiring harness for something. I can tuck all this back here somewhere. Same with that stuff. It's not really in the way, but that's just the voltage regulator and junction box for the horn relay. Okay, so I guess that's an update for now. I'll be back later. Okay guys, making a little progress. Got the wiring harness fished through here. I cut a slit from the steering column opening, and anyway, it goes in there. We're going to seal that up. So here's the fuse block that stays under the hood and the computer. Those two stay under here. Not going to mount them until I mount the firewall or the wheel well. So anyway, it's about to put the steering column in. I put down some of that sticky insulation. Yeah, here's the column here. That's where that's going to go. Put that on there. This is where the wiring harness comes through right here. And we're just going to have to find a spot for all this stuff here. This box, and this. And then we'll do something later here for the cruise control lever. Right there. And the ignition. This thing is really heavy. I'd like to break that down, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so we're going to mount the column in there and then figure out how to mount all this stuff up in there. And then we'll go on to round 2, which is put some power to it and check all these. See, there's some things that's not going to work on we're going to be using the truck dash, but like the signal lights, the signal bulbs that go in the original dash, we're going to figure out a way, because the old harness here is going to flash for that 4 ways of the turn signal. So we're going to mount them somehow to get them to work. We also got to light up the truck gauges in here. You know, when you turn on the lights and the lights come on in the dash, we got to figure out which wire, which is where is the, oh, I stuck it right here. This goes into the gauges. One of these wires is going to turn on the lights to light up the dash gauges. So we're going to have to hook a wire from here to the original light switch, so when you turn on the lights, the gauges light up. Okay, so that's going to be all little stuff. It's all that I can think of, but so anyway, that's what I got going on now. You know, we're going to make all this stuff fit somehow. Okay, so I'm fixing to put in the column. I'll probably put in some more insulation. Maybe double it up kind of around there. Okay, so anyway, I'll be back when I get some more accomplished. Okay, guys. Got the steering column in there just loosely. Just tighten up them bolts, but I'm leaving them loose so I can pull it down and stick the dash gauges, bezel stuff in there. Okay, I tied these two up with zip ties. I might do it a little bit better, but they're out of the way. And tied this up out of the way, connected to ground here. This I just left loose for the cruise control. I'm going to do something with that. And then the ignition will go. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, whether inside the bezel or below it or something. So there's only that, and then the OBD2 sensor that'll go underneath. The dash bezel mounts under here, so it'll, you know, be under there somewhere. Okay, so that's pretty much done. just kind of got to put the bezel on there. I can't get no power to my 4-ways. I forget where it is now. So I don't know which one of these two lights are directional signals, but I'll figure it out. I'll hook some more power, hook up the key switch, and turn the signals. And we're going to do something with the 2 directional signal bulbs so they come on when you know. And hopefully this thing works and it's not all rusty. But this is all going to come apart. We're going to get a new steering wheel, probably a Grant type steering wheel. I got a shifter out of a Camaro. The gear shift from the transmission cable connects right to that. We won't have the safety thing and all that stuff, but it'll work. So we're going to mount that in there somewhere. It doesn't matter where. We're going to build a custom console later on for it. Anyway, going to build a whole custom thing later on with a big screen radio type thing in there. Okay, so yeah, everything should be out of the way of my feet. And these are just speaker wires and stuff. I know where everything goes. So we're going to do a little more testing, and next video, we're going to end this video now. It's getting kind of long. We're going to take this, I haven't measured it real good yet, but the truck gauges here are going to go inside this bezel here. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut this out and mount in the truck bezel somehow and see how deep this is. I'm going to take all that off. That's pretty nasty anyway. But we'll do all that next video. And here's the light. Here's the lights, wiper, cigarette lighter, and the old ignition. Yeah, it says busted here, so we're going to have to glue that up, JB weld it. That's for the vent for the AC, and then that's the heater control. Now we're not going to have the radio. See, I may build a little plate here and put the ignition and some buttons on there, you know, the tow haul button, I don't know about the cruise control, but little, you know, stuff like that, the starter button and all that right there. So we'll save that for next video because this one is getting kind of long. So hope you weren't too bored. It was just all the, I got 90% of the wiring done now. Just got to do that dash bezel, and then later on, I still haven't ordered the fuel tank, but I think I found one higher price than I wanted. But I got to do a little measuring on the problem is this, I'm not sure exactly how this float works. It goes down and in, and I'm not sure if it's how far it swings up for the float level. That's what I need for the new gas tank. But I can get a gas tank to fit right in that perfect back space there. But anyway, that'll be later on. We got that coming, shifter, dash gauges, stuff like that, and the whole fuel system. We got to get all new fuel lines and connect all this up somehow. So anyway, I'm going to leave it like that, and we'll see y'all next video. And thanks everybody for watching.